sport to be able to get that visa, and you still need to continue traveling. So, I'll travel with the main one. I have a second one for getting the visas and things like that. But it's 20 rounds and pretty much the same as usual.
Yeah, great to see. All right, 20 rounds. We see it coming to places like Indonesia. Hints, hopefully, that could come to Australia, be our closest that we could probably afford to see. Do you hear much of the politics of what goes on? Because it seems to be, we get the idea they want to expand.
Yeah, MXGP, Youthstream, they want to expand, of course. I personally don't get involved in all that. That's management level. I just manage the commentary side of things for TV, MXGP TV. And so from that side, it's... Yes, we're going to go to England, we're going to go to Holland, we'll go to Italy a couple times, France, Germany, Russia, Latvia. Yes, we go 2 times to Indonesia, back-to-back weekends. We'll go to Turkey, we'll go to China. I would love to see a race in the Southern Hemisphere here, whether it's a collaboration between Australia and New Zealand, and we're here one year and Australia the next. But that's probably what needs to happen is, maybe the 2 governing bodies maybe need to come together. I don't know, but like I say, I don't get involved. But for sure, it's not a cheap process to host a Grand Prix anyway. But to do a flyaway one is a little bit more expensive. I'm sure people that have been negotiating over the years, they know all too well that. But we're bringing television, we're bringing logistics, we're bringing. When you turn on the television and you see the skybox, you see the pit lane, all that infrastructure, we fly out, we send it to those races. We have a team of personnel that is responsible for building that, the media center, everything, So it's a costly process, but the overall product looks great, and that's what you got to be aware of. And it would be great to see, some of the young MX2 riders here, plying their trade with the guys that ride regularly in MX2 on the world stage. At a flyaway race, you might only get 20, half a grid. So it's not a bad place to sort of, put out your marker, if you know what I mean. So, it's long overdue. I think the last time we came down here was probably Broadford 2000, and that was in Australia. So 20 years is long overdue, in my opinion. And I'm going to say that now because I'm married to a girl from the Southern Hemisphere. And, I've been down here 3 times out of the last 4 years now. So, it's a place, it's like a second home to me. We get to stay here 1 month, we get to see family, in-laws and all that kind of thing. So, to have one here, probably the start of the year would be great, because that means we come for December and possibly January and maybe February, But anyway, I just want to say, great job on organising the club on the track today. The racing has been fantastic. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I'd like to come back next year and see it all over again. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Been an honour to have you with us. Just the last question I've got is Dylan Walsh, of course, and Dylan, what a dynamic Kiwi rider. Can't get a ride on a team back in Europe, and that's been really disappointing for us. Probably from a positive point of view, we're going to get to see him more because he'll be in Australia and a little bit in New Zealand. But just when we were getting that so close to it, couldn't get that ride overseas. So obviously we can see that it's getting harder to get those rides.
Yeah, but also he's turned 23, so in MXGP, for the MX2 class, they have the 23 rule. So Romain Fevre, we thought he fell foul of it at the end of 2014, when he, maybe 2013 actually, he finished second in the World Championship at 14, finished third in the World Championship MX2, and you think, man, just give him one more year in MX2 and he could be world champion. He turned 23 on New Year's Eve. So he had to go to MXGP, but he won the title in his first year. And Dylan is in that situation now where he's 23, turned 23 already, so he's too old for MX2. Maybe he wasn't ready for an MXGP ride, so maybe he was looking for other stuff over here, and that's why he's landed here. But, I think give him a couple of years. He still needs to grow and mature. I know he's 23, but, he put in great performances during the year. And I just think he needs another year of growth on an MX2 bike before he decides to shift up to the bigger bike. So I don't think it's a step backwards. I think it's a good move. Same for Josiah, actually, Josiah Natsky. He's had his time in Europe. Things didn't work out for him there. So, come back here, build those blocks again, and maybe in a couple of years we get to see you back out there on the world stage.
Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate all your good work. Have a great year. We'll all be listening out for you. And God bless. We'll see you next year.
Thank you, and wish everybody a happy new year and safe racing in 2020.
Thank you very much. Mr. Paul Malin, world commentator with us. How's that? Yes, indeed, world motocross commentator with us here. You hear that voice, isn't it? Magnificent. And to meet him in person, the dynamics he's got, the popularity he's got, his knowledge that he's got is just fantastic. Sorry to have taken a break from this race, but it's not every day you get the world motocross commentator to join us here in our commentary box. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And all the best, Nicky. You've certainly succeeded here today for my money. So well done and great to see. All right, here we are at the moment with our MX3 and vintage racing. Danny Merriman, Caleb Livesey. So Livesey. So hopefully I've got it. And thank you for correcting me. Caleb Livesey. So we've always been trouble. Sort of we've tried to get Livesey and Livesley in there, but it's actually just Livesey. So nice to see. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. It's not your sort of average kind of day, but here's our race. Thank you, Tony, for the update. And here we are at the moment. So good to see. Oh, Paul Malin, highlight of the day for my money. Man, the authority, the respect of that voice, and what he knows, and everything is great. So well done. And all we want's another good shout out. He certainly was very respectful of Courtney and coming from New Zealand. He knew about New Zealand and he told the rest of the world of the little country down under where she came from with his great commentary of the WMX Women's Motocross class through our World Championship in 2019. Let's hope she can do that again in 2020. After all, it took her 4 years to get there, but she finally succeeded, and a hearty congrats to her. And did it riding a Kawasaki, courtesy of Bike It Racing out of the UK. So great team for her. Here we are with Mighty Mitch to go for it, and a number 3 out there. So nicely done, 3 on board as we look out for our VMX Vintage Motocross lineup, and these others in what we call MX3. So MX1 is big bore top quality racing, MX2 is mid bore or 250cc racing, and then MX3 effectively is a conglomeration of those riders that are not quite an MX1 or a MX2 rider. I'd be very thrilled to be a good MX3 rider, I can tell you. This is still a very good class. These riders are still above the average club rider. Here we are with some VMX4 with Kevin Duncan and Kevin Smith. Look at this Chesterfield bike. That is so nice in its livery, the KTM, and he's got his name on there, and as we pointed out, effectively that is cigarette advertising, all right? You can't have that anymore, but our world was dominated. Marlboro, Yamaha, Chesterfield. Of course, we had other brands along the way. The tobacco industry was riding behind our sport, but the laws of the world made it impossible. And that's what you're seeing. I love it. We call it retro. Somebody living and looking like it was all those years. So it's not just a matter of having an old bike, but you have the old gear to match it. And that gear would be almost priceless that he's on there at the moment. Look at that. Beautiful. I love your work there, Kev. So that looking super smart as well. On a KTM, a 1980 and a bit KTM. So neat to see this older style of motorcycle as well. So there he goes. Kevin Smith from Auckland, courtesy of ACME Racing, Moto Events, ADS, Tahuna MC and ATV, and Fioli KTM. Some lovely names here that have been around our sport for a while. So there you have it, Mr. Kevin Smith from Auckland on his KTM 250. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the year, but I'm pretty sure we're talking about late 80s, maybe early 90s, but no, I think it'll be late 80s. The class is pre-96, and you've got TT Yamahas, KX500, KX125s, Yamaha CR250, overall one of the most popular bikes you'll find, courtesy of the Honda shop and Flying W Motorsport. And great to have Flying W Motorsport USA Motorcycle Importers, Kev Duncan. So if you know of anybody who's looking for a quality American bike to bring back in the country, contact Kev, and he has them very well priced indeed. He does it more for the pleasure than he does for the money, and they're certainly in no way would you call them expensive. Yeah, they cost a bit of money. The cool thing about it is they actually appreciate. They don't depreciate. You generally, if you might pay $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a motorcycle, you'll normally get your money back. So there you go, giving you an idea that you're paying good money. Here we are, look at it, all the way. And the big race is on, here we are. And at the Mighty Money, Danny, oh, there we go, 158, look at that, 226 around the outside. And 226 and a big leap there to get his way through. So I love your work and going on through there. So Caleb had it, Danny just got him. Caleb Livesey. And it's Caleb to try and have a go. But I tell you what, did you watch that from Danny Merriman around the outside? A classic overtaking manoeuvre because he can use the berm, he can do it in speed. That's why I call this my most favourite finish line corner of any track in the country. So there we go with Brad. Brad has got the advantage now for that lead. Danny, my apologies. We did have Brad in there, Brad Cameron. He's just dropped back a fraction. So good work to watch going on there at the moment. Here. So good to see. Yeah, right, just because we saw that we're going to have Danny doing the overtaking, I would tell you what, Caleb won't want to make it surrender too easily. And we're looking down here, I think the white flag's going to come out this time. I'm looking at that. Yes, it did say 2 to go. That effectively means there's one of it. Look at them carving them up down through the inside. Oh, somebody, what a pity, couldn't get the advantage because the other lap rider was in the way. Ask Team Rees what a lap rider's all about on Boxing Day. We won't go there today, but a lapper makes all the difference. Oh, leaping inside to outside. Here we are, look at them. Here's your first 2. Round the corner simultaneously. Good to watch. Caleb Livesey and out there along with Danny Merriman. And here we are with the final run. Danny, Caleb going for it. Nothing much between them, but this is only for the white flag. Remember, just for the white flag, because the checkered's another lap away. They're going to do hell for leather racing for this for another entire race. There we are, 1:38 out there, but let's look out for it. 2:26 to go, and they're 1:58 this time. So there we are, the change out in the front, the change for the lead officially as it happened last time. So there you have it in our update. And great work from the front of the field this time. Danny Merriman, Caleb Livesey, along with Josh Niehorst, with Brad Cameron, Caleb Patterson, Sam Middleton, along with Brock Mitchell and Shane Smith. They were our next best riders in our update of action. So good to see what's going on here today.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. We are on the last lap of this one, and MX3 with vintage in there as well. Big credit to Mitchell Rowe. He's in charge. He's won the first 2 races and leading this one by 47 seconds. So Mitch Rowe ahead of Bryce McDougall. They've sifted themselves out throughout the field, but that's the update there. Mitch Rowe on track to win the vintage class here at Summercross, but the battle for the lead in the MX3 class is still with Danny. He is heading to the top end of the circuit and flying down the back straight over the laser photos ski jump and then into the DRD tabletop. Chased there hard by Caleb. Well done to Caleb there. A pretty good performance there. He's got better and better as the day's gone on. To go back to 3rd place with Josh Nigis in there. And also Brad Cameron and Callum Patterson having a little battle there for 4th and 5th place. So there it is. The top 5 looking fantastic at the moment, and MX3 action brought to you by MXT, which is motocross and track timing. Nicole and Di do some world-class timing and fantastic results. They printed the program as well for Summercross today. And here we go with over the Scott jump. It is the 2:26 of Danny Merriman. So he has 1 corner to go, and I think that'll be good enough for the overall as well. So Danny Merriman on the max gear KTM. He takes the win, 158 of Caleb Livesey. They're in 2nd place, so fantastic from him. And then go back to 3rd place, the 7:41 of Josh Nigis there. We've got the 2:11 of Brad Cameron. He comes round. He's going to get 4th place, so that's good stuff from him. And then we go to the 3:75 of Callum Patterson. He's there, so that's 5th place for him. Then we go with the 16 in the vintage class. It's Bryce McDougall there, so it's 2nd place for him. So a good showing there in our vintage class. We had 8 entered. We've had about 6 of them still out there on track, including the number 4, which is Kevin Duncan on that YZ. Brilliant stuff from him. We've got the 67 of Kevin Smith as well on that vintage KTM machine. There's the 229 coming through there. So brilliant stuff from Sam Middleton on the Underwood and Wilkins RMZ 250. The update for the MX3. Danny Merriman, Caleb Livesey, Josh Nigis, and then we go to Brad Cameron, Callum Patterson, Sam Middleton. We've also got waiting for the screen there. In 7th place, Brock Mitchell. They've done a good job. Shane Smith in 8th. Ruben McKenzie there in 9th with Gordy Murdoch. Rounding out to your top 10.